So when I was applying to be a resident, I think I really wanted to learn from the other naturopaths in the school. So after my 4 years at CCNM, I felt like you learn so much information, but I was just starting to develop my passion for naturopathic medicine. I went into the residency. I really wanted to just further develop that. So that was my own goal for myself, was just to work among as many different people as possible, to learn everything I could from them, and then just figure out what was right for me. Yeah. I also wanted to stay a part of the CCNM community.
Yeah. I felt pretty comfortable with the primary care practice, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to become an expert. I wanted to become better. Yeah. So I think the residency gave me the opportunity to become better, the opportunity to sort of hone all of my different skills in teaching all the classes here. Yeah. And then also it increased my patient exposure by being a clinic supervisor. So whereas if I was to go directly into private practice, it usually starts off slow, you steadily build up, so you don't really see that many people. Here you get to see lots of people. So the combination of teaching classes and patient exposure, I felt really made me better and better.
Mm-hmm. I really wanted to refine my skills and just really get better at certain things. So I felt like I had a good base level knowledge of Asian medicine and botanical medicine and MNIPS. I just wanted more experience with patients, with mentors. I wanted to still learn from everybody here. And my biggest thing was that I really developed an interest in fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, and through a friend who was on the shift. And then I thought, okay, well, if I'm in the residency program, then I can be part of everything, but I could also potentially get on the fibromyalgia shift and have Dr. McCrindle as my mentor.
The answer is just more.
Yeah.
So in general, I wanted to strengthen what I learned. I wanted to see more patients, more concerns, because the internship year isn't really long enough to see a wide variety of things. So I wanted to see more and do more. I wanted to learn more about botanical medicine, more about physical medicine. With the research residency specifically, because that's just learning more of stuff I kind of can do. The research stuff is stuff that I haven't done, but I've wanted to do for a long time. So how do I run a clinical trial? How do I do research in my own private practice that can then contribute to the naturopathic profession? How do I do that? And that's a lot of my main goals for the research residency, is learning how to do all of that.
I will say that the sky was the limit for me. I was really drawn to the research residencies. I really wanted to catapult my baseline understanding and baseline knowledge as a CCNM student and as an intern into the residency. So I really wanted to soak up everything that I could through the residency in terms of learning. I wanted to continue to be, around the wealth of kind of knowledge that faculty bring to CCNM, that other residents bring to CCNM, that students consistently show. And so I really wanted to soak all of that up from a academic standpoint, a clinical standpoint, and then from a research standpoint as well. I really wanted to stretch myself, really get more experience in teaching, because I knew that I wanted to teach long term. I wanted to be involved in the college from that perspective long term. And then from a research perspective, I loved research. As a student in university, really, I really took a step away from research as a student at CCNM. I think as a student, you're very, as you know, just very stretched. Definitely. And so, some of the passions that you might come into the college with, you might not have room for. And so it was exciting to me to kind of open that door back up. And to do it through the lens of something that I was very passionate about, which was naturopathic medicine. And so I was really looking to reopen that and recultivate that experience that I had previously, but not really nurtured through my 4 years. And I set some goals for myself in terms of, what I wanted to accomplish in the 2 years of the residency, and part of that was, you know, clinical expertise. Part of that was teaching experience, and a huge part of that was research experience, and, you know, both contributing to research as well as you know, presenting research and networking from a research capacity and things like that. So, yeah.
I think I was hoping to improve my skills mostly and flesh out the knowledge that I had sort of acquired in the first 4 years here. So it wasn't so much a matter of, well, maybe it was a matter of learning new things, but it was also a matter of solidifying the concepts that I'd got as a student. It was more the desire to, yeah, like I think I may have said it earlier, more a desire to solidify, sort of strengthen my knowledge, strengthen my, you know, okay, so what I would say is, there's nothing like NPLEX to make you realize how much you didn't know until you started studying. So while it's a feeling that you've gained a great deal of knowledge, it's also a feeling that you probably missed a few things along the way. So as a resident, there's two things. One, you can step back a little bit, and it's, you know, as a student sitting in lecture, it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And so, whereas as a resident, it's a little easier to see the forest for the trees. The other aspect would be, as a resident, you're doing a fair amount of teaching, and what we know is that teaching is one of the best ways to learn.
Definitely.
So you do, I think there's a good chance you're going to strengthen your learning as a resident above and beyond what you did as a student.
Yeah.
So my hope for the residency was that I would become more, mostly just learn confidence. So all of the stuff that we've been taught and been learning over the past 4 years of the naturopathic program, how do I really integrate those? How do I say this with certainty and not rely on somebody else to help me in that process, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I could do that, and also I wanted to just be exposed to more conditions and more different pathologies, different people with different concerns and different ways of those concerns presenting in different people and that sort of thing. And I really just wanted to learn more, just generally more overall, and experience things from a different perspective as well. It's a lot different once you're a practitioner, when you have a lot more responsibility on you and you understand things in a greater context and that sort of thing. It was a good stepping stone, but also, like, instead of just like a small step up, it's actually like a large leap, because now you're seeing all these different conditions. It's quite quickly, because you're seeing them in a short period of time. So you're seeing from going to 0 patients on your own to seeing hundreds to thousands of patients. It's a small matter of time where you accumulate that exposure and that knowledge. So it's quite a steep learning curve, but it's really rewarding. So
I can't say I had a plan like that. I definitely enjoyed my education at the college, and so I kind of wanted to stay and expand on my skills in whatever way that meant, but I didn't have sort of an endpoint outcome. This is what I want to get out of it. But you know, I felt like, I should stay for a few more years and just see what more I can learn before going out and practicing.
I think I was really hoping to sort of, I don't know, I guess in some way become more confident in the profession and in the core values that we embody. And I mean, that's more around practicing and more around delivering content. So I think with the residency, I knew it was going to be a really big challenge, because you're now on the other side. You're actually having to interact with students and answer questions and be a source of knowledge, which is really exciting. But
definitely a challenge, and I knew that coming in. So I was hoping, to take that away from it, to learn how to be a good teacher in naturopathic medicine and a good scholar within the profession. And that was a different role than what I had obviously as a student. That was sort of the big thing. And beyond that, just sort of hoping to establish collaborations with other practitioners and students in general. It's a really nice opportunity actually to be a resident, because you're sort of in contact with so many different people in the profession. It's nice.
I didn't have any specifics. I really didn't. I wanted to open myself up in a way where it pushed me personally, pushed my personal degree of comfort, I guess, but also my professional, and I think it did all of that. I knew I wanted to do the things that I was already comfortable with the teaching and the interacting and that kind of stuff, but I also wanted to do it in a way where it now made me feel very, very comfortable and grounded in doing so. I feel sometimes when you're in a role of teacher, you had to have gone through some steps to kind of internalize that, so that you're able to do it so much easier. So that was what I was excited about. I loved the clinical experience working with students and patients in that capacity, but I feel like it opened up a lot of, it helped me work on a lot of my, I call them strengths in disguise, not weaknesses, because they're just things to be developed. So it helped me work on those things, helped me, even when the situation seemed a little bit difficult, they helped me just grow that backbone and get a little bit stronger in those respects, especially when it came to professional development and so on. Great mentors. I was happy to work with many people who I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with. But what I feel about the residency is because it's such a fast track program, really. The learning curve is so steep. It really, really is steep, and you do that in 2 years, which is not a lot of time. And so I feel in that short time, I was able to kind of grow and expand more than I could ever have in a longer period of time.
It was more opportunity and somewhat different opportunities from being in the undergraduate program. And I think this program is somewhat rigid. We don't have an elective stream, so you're really required to take everything, and there's not a lot of option around that. And that's fine, and I value all of our modalities, and I think everything in the program is relevant and important. I really liked the idea of the residency being a little bit more catered to what I was interested in. I really found with that program my initiative mattered, that I could kind of create the program I wanted to have, and so that was valuable to me as well. So I was hoping for that. And then more of the academic side, I think I knew pretty early on that clinical work wasn't going to be what I wanted to do exclusively. And I really liked the learning, I really liked the philosophy, and I really liked the promotion and the expansion of the medicine. I didn't necessarily think that for me, clinical encounters were the way that I was going to be most of service. So to me, the residency was a nice opportunity to explore scholarship, to explore teaching, to explore those other aspects that were different than just clinical management.
Yeah.